We turn our attention from birthdays to the workplace. We say good morning once again to workplace specialist and specialist in gender issues. We say hello to Kelly Accetta. Kelly, thank you so much for joining me again in Memphis. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Terrific to have you back. Of course, it dominated the headlines for so long, the Me Too movement. And according to a recent study, I guess, out of the University of Houston, it has had perhaps some additional and or unintended consequences. What did their study find out?
Well, it's actually their study. Also, there was something out of Harvard Business Review, and also LeanIn.org did a really thorough study, and it all points back to this backlash of, of the workplace, of men not wanting to have interactions with women. 60% is what we're up to now. Male managers say that they're uncomfortable mentoring, socializing, and having one-on-one interactions with their female counterparts. So we've really got to look at this because 47% of the workplace now is female. And we just have to go back to understanding that the Me Too movement had to happen, but we have to communicate to one another of how someone's interaction might be inappropriate with us. And we just have to do it in a respectful way.
I'm just curious because I know we've seen movies, we've seen television, and we know the stories of the glass ceiling and how it's documented just how tough it is for women in the workplace. It's no secret. I think we can all agree at that, and it's sometimes just downright evil the way that management would treat female employees. You have your pendulum swing one way. Was Me Too the pendulum swing in the other direction, the kind of the equal but opposite way?
In my opinion, absolutely. And again, we'll go back to that stabilization, but we had to shine the light on what was going on. These predators had gotten away with things like this for decades. And, again, something like that just breeds the same behavior until there are consequences.
Sure.
So it had to happen. But now we need to go back to having very honest and very respectful communication with one another. One person, and I'm talking male and female, one person might be a hugger and another one isn't. You can't just assume just because you are that it's okay to just go and hug everyone.
Sure.
There are a lot of men that don't want you in their personal space, including women. So it, again, just goes back to us having that respect for one another and open communication, not having knee-jerk responses, not running to HR when someone says or does something that offends you, because, again, our set of rules might be different than someone else that's right next to us.
Sure. And you mentioned that some guys are handshakers, some guys are huggers, and females are the same way too, Kelly. And it seems like it's really complex because sometimes it's just a personal choice. Sometimes it's because of respect for marriage or their social beliefs or their faith beliefs. You just don't know unless you have that conversation. That's a great point.
And unfortunately, 1 in 3 women have had some sort of sexual abuse in their history. So you've got, again,
Sure.
You've just got to just be aware. Don't just assume everyone has the same set of beliefs you do and bully those beliefs onto someone else. Just be respectful.
And it's interesting, too, because I've seen where some workplaces in the United Kingdom are now pushing no handshake policies as well. It seems like the pendulum has swung even further over there where no contact whatsoever, which seems like, I don't know.
To me, I think you can't legislate respect. Again, it just goes back to having communication. And in this day and age, it seems like it's so difficult for us to just talk to one another. But that's what it needs to get back to. We just need to share with someone what our boundaries are.
Yeah.
In a very respectful way.
Yeah, and it can be done without having to fill out a disclosure or disclaimer form in triplicate. That's for sure. It's just, I think communication's the key. Yeah. Kelly, always a pleasure. Thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time and your insight. Always enjoy it. And please don't be a stranger.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Have a great day.
You too. All right. There's Kelly Accetta on Memphis Morning News.